Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Giselle Michelle, and this is CEO Corner. I want to talk today about a topic that's been in the press a lot the past few months, and it's been coined the Great Resignation of 2021. If you go to TikTok, you'll see people, with their letters saying, "I'm resigning," or "I just resigned." You resign too. YouTube, same thing. So for me, given that this channel focuses on helping CEOs and leaders in organizations and businesses think better, I want to talk a little bit about what you can do to help mitigate this turnover, right? So basically, in April of 2021, over 4 million people en masse, I don't think they talk to each other, but basically they all decided, I've had enough, I'm going to quit my job. And the reasons why they all did it were probably as different as all of them together, but definitely it was grouped. The reasons were grouped, in different categories, right? So for some people, frankly, they were just close to retirement age and decided that, or maybe were 10 years away from retirement. I knew a number of those people who, said, you know what? I don't really want to go back. I don't really want to go back. Particularly people who had been working to play at places for a long time, or one company or something, and they were already vested. And so staying a couple of more years probably would not have made that much difference. So they decided they wanted to leave. For some other people, it was the pandemic gave them an opportunity to reprioritize where they were, in their lives. And, sometimes you can go and you get into a routine and you do the same thing every day, you eat the same thing every day, you're with the same people every day, and it doesn't occur to you that life is going by. Well, last year we all were forced to have a pause. And during that pause, people basically were asking themselves deep questions about their lives and, recognizing that tomorrow is not guaranteed. They wanted to spend more time with their families. They wanted to, so the idea of, commuting for, 2 hours at a time or more each way just wasn't something that was tenable for them to support this sense of well-being they wanted to have. And so reprioritizing, their themselves and their families. And so a lot of people then decided, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to stop. Another possibility was that, a number of another grouping of folks, were able to see how they were treated by their companies during the pandemic, and felt that that treatment came up short, and they didn't want to have to endure anymore. Felt that they were not being valued, felt that they weren't being heard or seen. And so as a result, the job market is very robust. There are other places that that would be happy to have them and happy to and that were more aligned with their own personal values. And so they decided to take that change and just quit, right? Another possibility is, what about people who may have felt that they weren't being remunerated to in the best to the degree that they could be. And now that there is a shortage of workers, seemingly, that they felt that if they left now, much like people who are trying to sell their homes, right, at this, because we are in a hot market, and they're saying, you know what, let me sell my house now because who knows what the market is going to be like tomorrow. So if I can get a bigger price over here today for this property, then let me do that. So that's what they're doing with respect to work. If I can be paid a higher wage over here, over there, then let me do that, right? And there are people who simply change fields altogether, and since again, we are in a robust market for employment, where they might have been reticent to start anew because of this discrepancy in salary, because they're starting now something new. Employers might be more willing to work with them to accommodate a salary that would be closer to where they want to go in this new field. So lots and lots of reasons, as you can see, for people to want to leave. But the problem is people are still leaving. And as employers, it costs money. It costs money to have talent and intellectual knowledge leave, right? Historical knowledge leave, right? Because it takes time to retrain people. It takes time for them to get on board and feel comfortable, and then finally to begin to contribute to a level of fluency that actually is adding great benefit to your bottom line, right? And so as an employer, what can you do to help mitigate this this transition, this great sort of domino effect that's happening in the workplace? One thing, frankly, is that there has been a recognition in this transition that one of the articles that I was reading said that a lot of people who were particularly in entry level jobs, office jobs, retail, many of those people basically had less sort of control over their lives, right, over the course of this past year. And many of them chose to take the opportunity to go and retrain and move to companies that allowed them, even if they were entering again at the entry level, but that allowed them a pathway to grow, right? As individuals and professionals, right? That allowed them to learn new skills and have an opportunity to grow out of the entry level space that they're in, for and gain benefits, gain as well as skills, right? So it's not just about the money for many of those folks. It's about having the opportunity to retrain in a capacity that would allow them to grow their careers, right? So as an employer, what does that say to you? It says that you need to take a look at who you have and be willing to invest. Now, this is not only at the entry level, but it's also all throughout, right? It is important to invest in the well-being and the development of your employees to ensure that they continue to feel that they are learning, that they are growing, and that there is a vision for their lives inside of this company beyond just where they are. Another possibility for employers to ensure that they retain employees is this notion of flexibility. Now, I'm not saying anything new here, but for some reason, I think it's hard for people to adopt a different way of being. I think people are still trying to, when they talk either to themselves or they talk as a group in their leadership teams, they're looking for a way to go back to where things were. Even, just in the larger conversations, people are saying to go back to, right? To go back to what's normal, to go back to. There is no going back to anything anymore. What was is exactly that. It was. It will never be again. We have an opportunity instead to create what will be. And the employers who will succeed the most are the ones who are willing to accept that reality and move toward it. Craft strategies around it, even as it's moving and we don't know yet what the it is going to be. But we have enough little glimpses of information, such as we know that online, as Mark Cuban is one of the people that's often referred to when talking about this, online is here to stay. He's not the first to say it, but he's certainly one of the people whose voices has been ringing the loudest, right? Online is here to stay. So as a company, what does that mean for you? How do you accommodate your workers such that you can have a work model that facilitates and accommodates this online strategy, right? Because as people are looking at the fall, I'm talking to a lot of folks, both who are workers and those who are crafting the strategies for their workforce. There's a lot of anxiety around what that will look like. For some people, it's just, we're going back to what was. We want you back to the office 100%, starting September, to what was. For some people, it's about enlarging the pie and saying, okay, we can accommodate a hybrid strategy possibility here, right? And it's about, scheduling what that looks like for everybody. Because, in reality, that's great to have a hybrid strategy, but what if everybody wanted to work, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and didn't want to come to the office on Mondays and Fridays, right? You can't have that. You can't have that. So it's about scheduling and maneuvering and massaging what it looks like. And maybe you can have it. I don't know. But the fact is, though, what the idea is that for the employer who wants to have people there and the staffers who want to work out at home, right? It's about figuring out a way that creates a balance that accommodates the needs of both the employer and the worker. And for the worker as well, frankly, the idea of working at home 100% of the time, I mean, not everybody, but for a good number of people, you know, I think there is some interest in being in the office part of the time, because you do have an opportunity to interact with your coworkers in a different way. You do have the opportunity to, um, to just to communicate with people in this in-person kind of way, that the energy is different when that happens, right? It simply is, right? And we have come from an environment and a world where just the other day practically that's what we were doing, so we're used to that. So, but we have also come to recognize the great benefits of being able to come into your home office or your table or whatever it is, wherever your workspace look like, whatever your workspace looks like at home, to come and actually get the job done, and you can get it done and you can be efficient at it. Yet at the same time, you can, at some point in the day, if you have to be there for your child or your children to be dropped off at home after school, or you have a doctor's appointment for your parent, or for your whomever, that you can still accommodate those things. You can have a load of laundry running downstairs or wherever it is that your laundry room is, right? All of those kinds of things can be accommodated. And I think as an employer, if you can um, recognize the value that those things allow for your workers, the benefit will come back to you tenfold, right? So a way to help mitigate this loss, this great resignation inside your companies, so that you can avoid, frankly, the loss of intellectual property, the loss of intellectual knowledge, the loss of historical knowledge, the loss of, this sense of facility that people have when they know and understand their job and the culture in which they work and have to operate. Um, Investing in your workers, making them feel valued, making them feel seen, making them feel like their voice actually matters and their desires matters in the overall vision of things. That for them, and paying them, um, you know, you know, adequately enough that they feel that it's not just that yes, my voice, I'm being paid well, and for people, frankly, who are accommodated in many of these ways, basic ways, as we're coming back to the office, um, I think they're willing to work with you. They're willing to work with you as employers, right? Your best strategy for moving forward and keeping your employees is going to be focusing on being more flexible and realizing that if an employee feels valued and seen as well as heard, that person will reciprocate in kind and be invested not only in the job but in the business. And that benefits you and it benefits them. So at this point, I would love for you to, again, if you've heard anything here that you have liked, please share, please support the channel by, subscribing and clicking the notification button so that when we drop a new video, you will know about it. And I look forward to the next time. The other thing I wanted to say is that it really, I would love to start seeing some more comments on the page, but meanwhile, I have received a couple of emails, which is great. For some reason, people haven't wanted to leave comments, but they have dropped emails, and um, and so, in fact, I've gotten the next idea for a video is going to come from some of the comments that I received. So thank you for that. However you're most comfortable, and that's fine. And so until then, I appreciate your tuning in. And we're going to keep at this thing until we get it right, whatever right means. All right. Thank you so much. And it's been lovely to catch up with you all. And I look forward to seeing you again the next time. Thank you so much.